Yo, what's up? What's up? Yeah, so I did Americans living abroad. First time you realized America really messed you up. TikTok 2021. I did the first part, and you guys said I gotta see that day more. Like I've not even seen anything. So yeah, I wanna see this now. Guys, drop on just tell me what things you want me to react to. Let's go.
Realize that America really messed you up. Okay, I have type 1 diabetes and I lived in Costa Rica. The very first day that I was there, my insulin pump stopped working.
Oh.
This was like some weird fluke, unrelated to anything else. But I didn't have a doctor yet or really know where to go. So I went to a pharmacy because I needed to get long acting insulin so I could still treat my disease. And when I went to the pharmacy, the insulin was $20 for a vial.
I mean, how much is it in the US?
In the United States, I pay $322 for that same vial.
No fucking way, bro. No way that is true. Come on. That's a whole different level, bro. Like that is a whole different level of rip-off. That is like $300 different. Come on.
I also want to add that I got the insulin over the counter without a prescription. In the United States, I have to see my endocrinologist 4 times a year to get a prescription for a medication
No
that keeps me
fucking way.
alive. American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So I am an American living in Paris. I studied in both a French university
Emily, is that you? Those that get it, get it.
and an American university. Due to my American university, I'll be paying off my student loans until I'm 50, maybe even 60. Whereas for my French degree, nothing. Nada, because it was free. Free 99. Free. Gratis. Gratuit. Well, not completely free, but still free.
I mean, it's gotta be free compared to what you pay in the US, bro. Like it's insane. I remember I wanted to like study in the United States, and I checked the money, everything to get it done, bro. It was like over $50,000. Like, how am I supposed to fucking keep up with that, bro? Like, even if I work my ass off for like 12 hours each day, I'm still not able to like cover that up enough to like. It's just insane out there, man. It's insane.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
I was living abroad in the UK and I had a job interview. And of course, growing up in the US, you're conditioned to dress so professional, be prepared, have your resume, and all these things. So I was like that really much. And I remember walking into the interview and they were like, "Oh, well, you look really snazzy." And I was like, okay, that first of all, I never heard that before at an interview. Then secondly, they didn't even ask me anything besides, "Hey, Kyle, would you like a cup of tea?" And I was like, okay. Never was asked that before ever in any other job interviews. We had a tea and we literally like sat and talked about all sorts of stuff, personal life, their life, and we just had a laugh for like 45 minutes. And right afterwards, they're like, "You're perfect for the job. You fit great." And it was really crazy to me, and it was really
In this
fun.
life here, when you have a perfect working condition, your job is not gonna look like a job. It's just gonna look like you're hanging out with friends while doing your job. You know what I mean?
Experience. I wish the U.S. would just chill out sometimes a little bit more.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up? I'm going to keep this really short and sweet. When I knew America messed me up was when I was living in Canada and they gave me 12 months paid to hang out with my kid. Oh, and then just in case, you could take 18 months and they'll still pay for it. And your employer has to give you your job back. I can't be real.
Are you serious? I think I'm migrating to Canada now. So you get paid for doing nothing for 12 months. That is impressive. To be honest, that is commendable because having a child is not something you have a control over, you know what I mean? So like I feel like that's really considerable of them, to be honest. So if it's not like that in the US, I mean that's messed up.
But it is. If you're an
Why is she smiling
American
like
currently
that?
living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
Was when I moved back to America. I lived in Japan for 15 years. The first day I was in Japan, the first train I ever rode on, I saw people wearing masks. And I asked my then fiance, oh my gosh, is there some kind of like epidemic? And she said, no, this is just what we do during cold and flu season. People wear masks to protect themselves. It's like, oh, for
To be honest, that's true though. Asians are like way ahead of time. Like I've seen K-pop idols wearing masks even way before the pandemic. Like I'm talking about 2 years before the pandemic, and I was like, when I saw the video, I was like, what the fuck was this during Corona? I was like, no, that's how they do, bro. It's crazy.
15 years, I could buy masks at the convenience store, the grocery store. I always had a box on the shelf by my front door. So if I was not feeling very well, I'd grab a mask on my way to work. No big deal. So when I came home and the pandemic started, I thought, finally, all Americans will get the importance of masks. Surely they won't politicize that. I was wrong.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America
That's
really
true. I wonder how using your mask to protect yourself when you have a cold became something to argue about, something that had like, I don't know, like you had no freedom. It's crazy when you see people being mad about the fact that I don't want to use a mask. Okay, I understand you don't want to get a vaccine into your body, but using a mask to protect yourself and people around you is basic thing you gotta do, bro. It's not something you should argue about or feel like your freedom is being taken away from you, you know?
messed you up?
9 months before I moved to Ireland, I was there on a vacation, and the person I was with,
Did you have
we
an Irish
had a
accent?
car. And we stayed at a golf resort, kind of in the middle of nowhere because it was the off season, so it was actually really affordable. There was a gated front entrance to this golf resort, and there was a small little village on the other side of it. And because we were pretty far back on the property, and it was January, so the weather was kind of crappy, we often would drive if we needed to run to the store for anything or to a restaurant. We became friends with the front gate attendant because we were in and out all the time. So one day we're driving to go to dinner, and I had asked him, hey, what's the legal limit for like drinking and driving here? I wasn't planning to do anything stupid, but I'm also a public health major, and knowing that Ireland is known for its drinking culture, I was curious, so I thought I'd ask. The guy looked at me completely dumbfounded. He's like, what? So I clarified the amount of alcohol you can have in your system and still legally drive. And he says, none?
What is one time that made you realize?
Wait. So there's a limit of alcohol you can have in your body to drive in the USA. Like that's completely legal, right? That's crazy. That is crazy, my friends.
That America really messed you up?
When my grandfather was dying, we went to Scotland to go and see, him for one last time. And at one point, my grandfather had a prescription that
But what is this? What is this eyebrow?
needed picking up. So I pop out of the car, run into the pharmacy, and I've got my purse on me. I don't have very much money with me. I just didn't. And I went in and I'm just like, okay, I'm here to pick up for my grandfather. This is his name. And I've got my passport out, ready to hand it to them, like to prove that I'm who I say I am. They're like, oh, yeah. How's John doing? Here you go. Here's his stuff. Hey, let him know that if he ever needs help with this, you can just call us. We'll send it on down to him. I said, thank you. And then I stood there and they're like, why are you still here? It's like, I need to pay. And I'm like, no, you don't. He's old. Everything's free. I never felt more uncomfortable leaving a building than I did in that day. It was awful.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is
Bro,
one
man, that's what you call making life easy for people, bro. Like, it just.
time that made you realize that America really...
So I've been living in Italy for about 11 years now, 12 years. And I moved here to be with my husband. And in the U.S., I got my tubes tied after my third child and decided I didn't want any more, but he didn't have any, so we decided to do IVF, and I got pregnant with twins. At 13 weeks, I lost one, and once I lost that child, they considered me a high-risk pregnancy and took me off work from that moment on until 3 months after she was born, and I was paid 100% of my check. 100%.
Wow. Hey, this is. It's like where I come from as well. It's like that, to be honest. Like when you get off work, nobody's freaking paying you for not working, fam. But understanding like there's a place like this where people actually have the human feelings to understand like it's not in your power to be at work, and they still pay you. That is actually really commendable. I'm not gonna lie.
Of my check. And then until she was 1, I got to come home 2 hours a day to breastfeed her. 100% paid.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Oh, I was in Grenada for a couple of weeks.
I love our hairstyle though. I'm not gonna lie. I love our hairstyle.
And every single day between 12 and 2, they would always close down. Everything would just close down. And
Everything shut down for lunch. What?
I was just like, what is going on? And they're like, well, we need to go home and have lunch with our family, just enjoy, just relax a little bit. And that was when I realized every other country out here really understands the value of spending time with your loved ones. And
Well, I'm sorry. So you leave work to go home to have lunch with your family. Is that what you're trying to explain to us? Nah, that's crazy.
just actually taking a break, except America. America just teaches us to work, work.
No, actually, it's not only America. Where I'm from, like, you just can't go home for lunch to spend with your family. Nope.
Work for labor instead of actually living. So don't procrastinate on your happiness, sis. Your worth is not in labor.
I love the
It's a
sassiness.
luxury. Do what you want to do and be happy.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So when we first got here, we had to go straight into quarantine. 2 weeks, no big deal. We thought everything was taken care of. Well, we got a letter from the electric company while we were in quarantine. Couldn't understand it. It was all in German. We tried to translate it. Google Translate wasn't really doing anything for us. We couldn't understand it. So we were like, we'll just go in person, once the 2 weeks are over. Well, on the last day of quarantine, our power gets shut off. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, why? So we finally, after a few hours, get a hold of somebody who can speak English. And they laugh at us. And they were like, are you American? And we were like, yeah. And they were like, yeah, we don't shut your power off just because you don't pay. You have to go through a whole system before we shut your power off. I've never been so embarrassed because we really were like, we'll pay anything, like please turn our power back on. And they were like, yeah, we don't shut power off here. It's good to know.
American currently
So
living
they like shut power off in the US?
abroad. What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
All right, so when I lived in France, I went to a
France.
cafe with my friend, and outside the cafe, there were a whole bunch of baby strollers with human babies inside of the strollers. And I was super freaked out, and I asked my friend, why would anybody leave their babies outside unattended in their strollers? Aren't you afraid of something happening to them? And my friend looked at me and said, why would you assume that anything would happen to a baby? Who would be so horrible to do something to a baby?
Me, aside from me being America alone, like, it's quite unsafe just leaving your baby out there unattended to in a stroller. I'm sorry, like, I just feel like that, man.
Yeah.
It has nothing
You're an
to
American currently living
It has
abroad.
nothing to do with being American,
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed
So I don't currently live abroad, but I did live in Japan from September of 2019 to March
Sorry, sis. Sorry. Breathe. Sorry. We hear you. Sorry.
2020, and the amount of things
Don't shout at me. Don't shout at
I
me.
realized while living abroad is astronomical. So I live in New York, and this varies state to state, but generally the average cost for an individual for health insurance is about $500. If you have a family, your family plan is going to cost you about $1,000.
But you guys pay $1,000 a month for insurance, health insurance. Like, okay.
In Japan, I paid $23 a month for health insurance that covered everything. And don't even get me started on the American food industry because it's disgusting. Not only could I feed myself for 2 weeks on $50, but food regulations in Japan are so strict. I ate the exact same way I would in America, and I still lost 40 pounds. 40 pounds.
Give me an item you bought
Wow.
that you were greatly disappointed in due to poor product description or false advertising.
I bought a banana duck. I got it off of
But what the fuck? Okay, no, that's all. Okay, wait. Okay. Wow. Wait, oh man, all those things are so ridiculous. I mean, except the fact that the stroller part, I could understand why someone would feel uncomfortable with just leaving a baby, like babies unattended to in a baby stroller. It's not even about like things that it's just not normal for me, man, leaving a baby out there unattended to. But every other one was just ridiculous, fam. Like, god damn. So, guys, that's second part to Americans living abroad first and realize America really makes you to the compilation. And yeah, tell me more things if you want more from this one. Let me know. And yeah, till next time. Peace out.